How do you speed up your writing and get rid of your imposter syndrome? Building a template is the way to go. I'll give you 6 easy steps how to build your own template that is not only inspiring, but also helps you write faster. You can do this in any DAW, and once you've set this up, you have this template for life. This is the only way I'm able to write a crazy amount of music for my clients with really short deadlines. Hey, my name is Lo. I'm a composer with more than 20 years of experience, wherein I wrote the music for over 150 films and television episodes. I'm gonna show you my template in a minute, but first, I'll dive into a mistake I used to make using this method. I am a sound designer first. This is what I love the most and where I pride myself in. I used to start out by working out a perfect sound or a beat, until I had something that inspired me to build out a full track. This is a great and fulfilling way of working, but it also holds you back a tremendous amount. I always ended up spending too much time on things that don't really matter, and then I wrote myself into a corner. I got a great idea, it sounded amazing, but then it was harmonically so rich that I ended up with only one question, like, where the fuck do I go from here? Well, the answer ended up being easier than you think. When I open up my template, the only thing I'm met with is a simple felt piano. This piano always takes the lead. I start with writing a simple chord structure or a simple melody, something that works. The trick to keep this really fast is to have the template with just a couple instruments, and you have to stay with these for now. If needed, you can just use some simple EQing or use like 1 or 2 effects, but stay with the sounds that we have in our template. We can always dive in later and really make it sound good. But for now, the thing is, keep it simple. So why does my template look so empty? Well, within Bitwig, I have the option to hide deactivated tracks. I think it's really important to only see the tracks that you're working with. And to me, if I have a template and I have a lot of tracks open, I find that super cluttering for my brain. So Bitwig has the option to hide unused tracks. The same counts for Cubase and Pro Tools. Unfortunately, Logic doesn't do it, and Ableton doesn't do that either, although I know there is a Mix for Life patch that can make that work in a weird little workaround. If you want to know more about that, ask me and I will figure out which one that is. So let's open up my deactivated tracks. Here we go. I have a folder structure that I use as my stems for later on. I found that this is the easiest way to stem out my work in such a way that my client can use it, or I use it myself to actually go in deeper and do a more perfect mix. I have beat and I got 7 different tracks in there. Those are the only ones I use. This has everything I need. If you want to see why I made those choices that I made this template during a live session. I will link that in my comments. So within the beats, I have Drum Machine from Bitwig itself. I use this just to drag in some kicks and snares, whatever I need, and make a beat that way. I have XO. I use XO all the time because it is the easiest way to find a track. There is no simpler way to find another sound. I hate going through different kicks. Boom, 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 boom. This has everything organized in such a clever way. It's really quick to get to a sound, and I don't spend too much time on it. It's like 5 seconds and I'm going, okay. That's the one that I like. Okay, load it in, and I got this one. Then I have a simple 909. I got a trap kit, so I have like a total different sound. I got Bitwig for like dirty kind of beats. I have an Abbey Road set to have a more realistic sounding drum kit. And then tape drums is also from Native Instruments. I use that as a more tight 70s sounding kit. This way, I have like my 808s, I have my 909s, I got a trap kit for a more modern sound, I have like an Abbey Road old school sound, and then I have like a super old school dead sound. What else would you need? Like that is everything you need drum-wise. I can sit and go over kick and snares forever, but it's all about like making quick decisions. If I will take it all away and I open my session without a template and I have to think about what kind of beat I want to make, I'm gonna think about what sampler, what instrument am I gonna use to make this beat? It's like I have so many choices that I have to make before I can start making anything. And if you have a template with everything there, I click on it, here it is, I got 7 options. Grab one and go. Often I use a mixture of a couple of these. So I start with a beat in XO, then I grab a snare from the Abbey Road, and then I want a dirty hi-hat from Bitwig over top. And that's often like a great way to structure beats with different things. I have millions of options just with these couple of guys. And you know what? If it doesn't work for me, later on I can always dive in deeper. But the important thing is start writing, lay something down, and keep on moving. That was it for beats. The same for percussions. I got risers and booms. I got drones, basses, arpeggios, keys and plugs, pads, leads, and strings. For strings, I only have ensembles loaded just because it makes it a lot easier. If I want to work out a big classical piece, I will do that in Cubase, and that's where I have my strings set up. Way more libraries with way more articulations. But I think it is really good to have a program like Bitwig that you use for fast writing and to get to the ideas that you want. And then you can always work things out more deeper later. Let's just play around with this. So here's a quick, simple 4-chord structure. Okay, here we go. Let's take another snare. Something. Okay, export it and drop them in. Can turn the sync off, turn the XO off. Nice. Basses. I just want to have like a simple sine wave bass. There is one, X sine wave. Mute all you guys. Throw your octave down. Okay, cool. Let's enter a pad in here. Let's start with pigments. Copy the synth over, mute the piano. What are we having here? Yeah, cool. Let's also copy it towards the Juno, just for fun. Copy. Let's give it a quick LFO with some movement. Curves. Why not just the first one that we have here? Ooh, and just give it an LFO so we go in and out to give it some extra movement. Send that also to that same filter. What do we have? So we got a beat, we got a bass, we got pads. Maybe let's give it a string over top. Strings. Spitfire Audio chamber strings are always great. And let's copy the MIDI from the piano again. Let's see, only the top line. Put 2 octaves up. 1 lower. I think you got the idea. We're just a short amount of time in, and I think this is something. This is not a masterpiece, and we can do a lot from here. But this is a good structure to start building off a full track off. And what do? We have a template with only a small amount of choices that you can make within your template. Everything is always there, so you just know where to go, what to grab. I got to be honest, like opening up the template and then opening a specific folder and then deactivating them is maybe less fast than just starting a new track and typing in FM synth. But this gives you so many choices, and it gives you fatigue in the end of the day. If I'm constantly have to think about, like, what synth am I gonna get? What am I gonna use? No, I have a template with a bunch of sounds that I can work from, and those are my starting positions for everything. This really helps you to speed up your process. And if you're working for specific jobs, the trick is to constantly carve out a little bit of a different template. And that way, all the music overall will have the same sound. So if you want to work fast, start from a template. Don't reinvent the wheel on every track you write. First make a track that works, then dive in and go deep on the sound design to make your track sound next level. Do you use templates in your work? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to follow me along building this template, there's a link in the description. Now, make some music and I'll catch you next time.